Hi, guys. This week on the Reactors Summit, we're going to talk about the team and singles tournament wrap ups. We're also going to wrap up the entirety of the 2017 tournament, and we take a brief look at the upcoming Inner Geekdom matches. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Take 3 Reactors Summit. I'm Kristen Smith and I'm taking over while Jacob London is on a much needed vacation. As always, I'm just basically attempting to make sure this place does not burn down in his absence, but I am joined by an amazing panel today. We've got a couple special guests, but we'll go with a familiar face. We've got Chris Clark. How's it going, Chris?
I am going well, swell, bat out of hell. This is going to be great, great, great with a plate of chicken parmesan. This is going to be a great summit, y'all. I am so excited. We are going to rock this sucker tonight. Bada bing, bada boom.
I expected nothing less. We're also joined by Linus Babcock. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm very excited to be here to discuss the greatest week of Schmoedown matches.
Perfect. And lastly, we're joined by fellow reactor and amazing human being, Taylor Robinson. How are you doing today, Taylor?
Aw, I'm great. Thank you so much, Kristen. I'm very, very excited to be here this week. I've got plenty to talk about with the way the tournament has turned out, so I'm really excited.
Awesome. So getting right into it this week, we did miss a few weeks and there has been a lot going on in the world of the Schmoedown. So we're going to wrap up just a couple stories and then we're going to move into the tournament itself. We just have an update on the Star Wars match that's coming up, the 5-way, where we had one person, Jason Ward, who had to back out, and it was replaced by Shayna, who is at Geek Girl Diva on Twitter, and she is amazing. If you aren't following her, she has a lot of great insights. And I'm always just really excited to see like a female presence in these kind of bigger matches. But to run down the rest of the people, we have Alex from Star Wars Explained, Joseph Scrimshaw, Steele Saunders, and Sam Witwer, of course. We're all very excited about this match, especially at Take 3. We've got a ton of really crazy Star Wars people, but I'm really excited to see a female presence on this match, and I hope we can get some more nerdy, geeky females to be in these matches moving forward. And our last piece of news, Chris Clark, why don't you take it away?
All right, so it has been, kind of confirmed, kind of not. They don't really know yet. We don't know, according to that after credits scene. Apparently, Team Action versus Top 10 could possibly happen. It's a strong possibility, but Action is very hesitant. They feel like Top 10 has kind of outdid their welcome, but we don't know.
If anyone has any speculation on what those terms of conditions might be on getting into
Exactly.
this match, I think it could be really interesting. Obviously, you know, there could be some sort of stipulation where they're not allowed in the studio for a certain amount of time. Linus, do you have any thoughts on what these terms could be?
A lot of people have brought up the retirement factor for Top 10. Personally, Harloff, I don't think he's going to make Top 10 go away for a year, let alone retire. They have a great chemistry. The show's back together. But something I think might happen is I think it might actually become some sort of a singles match instead, because they might change something up. We might have Bateman versus Rocco. We could have Guy versus Nose, because Action, they don't want to play him again. It's pretty obvious. And I don't know what the stipulations would be besides retirement, but I don't know who would really want to see retirement from each of them because they both have great records. So I think maybe making it a singles match would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, that sounds interesting to me. I mean, it would definitely be a twist. Taylor, what are your thoughts?
I was kind of a little lost on maybe what the stipulations were going to be, just because, as Linus was saying, both teams are doing great for the most part, and they're very popular, both teams. So I don't really think anyone wants to see anyone retire at this point, just with how much hype all of the teams bring. So maybe it will be something like a singles match. Maybe it'll be like a temporary retirement, possibly. But I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I think maybe Action is playing it up a little bit and they do actually want to play top 10, but they're not going to give in that easily. So we'll just have to see.
That's fair. And personally, I just am in denial. I don't want either team to break up because you've got like the biggest smack talkers in the league versus like my favorite team in the league. So let's not break either of those guys up. Maybe they'll just say like Roka's not allowed to wear his hat for his matches for like an entire year or something. Like maybe it'll be something funny like that. But those are our thoughts on that upcoming match and what those stipulations could be. And moving on to the tournament, I think we can all agree, and there's a reason why we have two of the above the line linebacker admins on this panel today. We can all agree that this was the year of Sam Levine. Let it be so, 2017, the year of Sam Levine. He basically not only walked away with the singles tournament in the bag, but him and Drew McWeeny went on an incredible 4-0 journey to win the team tournament as well. And let's not forget, he also won the free-for-all earlier in the year and very nearly beat Dan Murrell to win the belt even before Christian had it. So he had an incredible year. But for teams, their journey through this team tournament was just incredible. So this finals match was fantastic. You had Team Action, who was 5-1, and Above the Line, who was 3-0. Both teams were ranked actually fairly low in the standings when they entered the tournament. And Above the Line, when they entered the tournament, was a completely unknown factor. No one knew if they were going to mesh well as a team, and they just came out of the gates and wowed everybody. So we're going to go into this finals match. What were your thoughts? Taylor, let us know what you thought of this match.
So this match was actually really hard for me because I really do like Team Action and I really do like Above the Line. So for me, it was really tough to watch it. But the thing that made it easier for me was I really wanted Sam Levine to be in a position to take both belts. I wanted him to make it to the spectacular in both capacities. So the match didn't quite pan out how I thought it was going to. Action didn't quite have the drive, it seems, that I was thinking they would, unfortunately, but the hole they were able to dig themselves out of was kind of incredible to watch. And obviously, I'm really happy with the results. I'm really excited that Sam Levine and Drew took it, but it was exactly the kind of final that I was hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you kind of sometimes will play a bit of a role in your reactions, at least I do, where you are always against the heels. But I would like to say right now, like Team Action, like I appreciate what they do for the Schmoedown. They are both excellent competitors. And no matter what I say in my reactions, I think they're wonderful human beings. Chris Clark, what did you think about this match?
This match was actually really, really good. Above the Line and Action have both superseded everybody's expectations. They really did. Above the Line, a lot of people figured like they would be the other critically acclaimed that just failed in the first round and then didn't pursue. Wrong they were. Undefeated, and I think they have almost as many victories now as the Patriots in a row. Correct? I think almost, kind of, but but Action themselves have actually, like, they during this entire tournament, they kind of, I thought they were donezo against their first match against Cinema Blend, I think it was. But and they probably, I'm curious to see how Action would have managed to get if IGN stayed in the tournament because of Veveda being the monster that he is. But this match itself was fantastic. The Above the Line and Action were really neck and neck, although it was kind of Action's, again, worst match this tournament too, and it sucks that they lost, but they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back swinging, and for once, the Action category that they chose failed them. So it was a very interesting match. It was very passionate. It was very entertaining to watch, and it's a match that I'll go to again and again.
Yeah, definitely. It was a rememberable match for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Linus, how excited were you about the outcome of this match?
Well, did I have any doubt in my mind Above the Line wouldn't pull this off? No, because of course they did. If you look at the stats, this was a knockout in round 2. It was 24-13, I believe, or somewhere around there. This was a knockout if it was a 3-round game. Yes, Action came back, but they bet 1 point in this betting round. That wasn't a good decision on their part. It could have meant a much closer game. And I'm just so happy that Action Army can finally shut up with the Team 70s, all that stuff. But this was a really fun match. It was incredibly funny. I liked what Action was doing with their trash talk. It definitely wasn't their best, but when they compared Above the Line to Up, I thought that was hilarious. The young Boy Scout and Drew McWeeny being Carl. That was hilarious. And Sam getting the wits right back to them was great. It went kind of how I expected it to. Above the Line's never really been tested in a hard way. Wolves of Steel, they went down to their 5-pointer, but that's the only match that ever happened to them. They're dominant, and it proved even more so. And Action, I mean, they played how I expected them to. They had a great run in this tournament for sure. No one can deny that. I had them losing to Trek in round 2. That didn't happen. I like Team Action. They're nowhere near my favorite team, but it was fun seeing a new-blooded team getting to the finals for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, personally, this match was just really cool to watch because, like I said, like these guys were kind of further down on the rankings. I think a lot of people had critically acclaimed winning or, top 10. Like they had other people winning these matches. And we all kind of slept on Team Action. The fact that Above the Line was a complete unknown, like who would have thought that this would have been your final? Probably no one. I'm assuming that there were no perfect brackets coming out of this tournament. But Team Action, I mean, what they've done for the Schmoedown in the short time that they've been in it has been incredible. They've furthered a lot of storylines. They've smack talked pretty much everybody and their mother, and they are hilarious, and they've got an amazing chemistry together. That being said, they did miss some really important points in this match, especially from their own category of Action, which is just super disappointing. And I'm sure that they are beating themselves up about that because for the longest time, everyone just said they can't win unless they hit Action. And when they finally do spin it again in this tournament, it really comes back to bite them in the butt. And they did come back. They scored 27 points, and if they had been facing another team, that might have been enough to win. 27 points is still a really impressive amount, and they technically only lost by 1 point at the end of the day. So it was a high scoring tournament all around, and it was a high scoring match, even if there were some points lost in the middle. Above the Line, just they were basically unshakable this whole tournament. They beat teams that no one expected them to beat. They took all the smack talk and didn't, let it phase them at all. And, just really incredible teams, both sides of it. I'm glad that was the final. I think it was really entertaining. My favorite part, I think, actually, is when the Lions Den came in during the post match and Drew actually like smack talked them a little bit. Like I was like, well done, Drew. Like just seeing him come out of his shell and like actually like play along with this character is really cool. I'm so happy that we got to see that. But now we're going to move along to the singles tournament. Obviously, this match was JTE versus Sam Levine. If I had said that last year, everyone would think I was crazy. These guys are pretty much the pivotal underdogs of this tournament. Last year, both of them had really lackluster years. JTE pretty much didn't win any matches last year in singles, and Sam Levine had some really poor show-ups that year as well. And they basically turned everything around and became two of the best competitors in this tournament during this year. And the match was so back and forth and a nail biter all around. It was hard not to love it. What did you think about this, Chris?
This match, JTE versus Sam Levine, I tried and I failed to curse Sam to lose because look, JTE, this was the battle of the two people that beat Bibbs, right? This is the battle of the two people that beat Bibbs, and I figured that I wanted JTE to get to the final with Bibbs to get that rematch because him losing to JTE was, and it still is something that still haunts him and still haunts me. People, and including especially Evan, use the JTE kind of thing like, yeah, he lost to JT, he sucks. I get it. Shut up. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, this was one of JT's worst matches, especially for his round 2 stats. Because our good friend Frank Janish actually said that in his stats thing at the end of the episode. But look, Sam Levine won, and I know it made Linus very, very, very happy. Fact of the matter is, I hate it when people I know are not miserable when I'm miserable. So this match was okay, but look. When I interviewed Bibbs for the summit like a couple weeks back, we had like this 40-minute conversation about the Schmoedown and stuff. He was talking about how he viewed Sam Levine as his avatar to go into the final. He viewed Sam as, okay, he beat me, so Sam is going forward and he's going to make it to the final for me. So in that instance, I do respect and I love the fact that Sam has won, because in a sense, Bibiani won. And in a sense, I was right the entire time, and everybody can bugger off.
Linus, what were your thoughts about this singles match?
Okay, I've been a fan of Sam Levine since I saw him in Freaks and Geeks. I love this guy. I was so surprised. I saw his name on a match scheduled against Chris Stuckman back last year. It was changed to Hal Rednick, of course. But I'm like, Sam Levine, the kids from Freaks and Geeks? And like, I love Sam Levine. He's been my favorite player. It's kind of, he fell off a little because he wasn't playing as much and he didn't have the best season last year. But I had him going to the finals, and having him win this match, I was kind of doubting it myself because JT had been on such a run. It felt like there was some destiny behind him, like he said. And going into this match, I'm like, JT's got it. I didn't say it to my, linebackers, but I thought JT had this one to win. And of course, Chris picked Sam, so that was another reason. But Sam did it. He pulled off this victory. He came back, which was amazing. And him picking movie release dates in round 2 was such a surprise, honestly. I was worried, but then you look at someone like Sam, he probably studies movie years so well that he did great. And he only missed that 1 point because he was comparing his own age when he thought a movie came out, like that he was 6, but it was a month before his 7th birthday. So that's why he thought it. And that's why he missed that question. But this was overall a fantastic match. It's kind of hard to make a smack talk because these players don't have that much history besides the Drew match with JTE. But Sam beat Snyder before, so I thought he could probably beat JTE because Drew lost to Snyder and then Drew lost to JTE. So that was my reasoning behind it. I was so happy about this match. It's weird how happy this match made me. I was like jumping up, celebrating because Sam won both tournaments. He did it. So happy.
It's really cool that we have like really true fans of Sam's and Drew's on this today. We did not plan this; it just happened. So, Taylor, what were your thoughts? How excited were you? Are you mad that Linus here was a betrayer and doubted Sam in this tournament?
Well, let me just start by saying that the build up to this match, this whole tournament has just been insane. No, not a single person could have imagined that this was going to be our finals for our singles tournament. And watching Sam Levine gain that momentum throughout the entire tournament has been a spectacle to watch because he faced so many different people that no one believed that he was going to be able to beat. It was kind of an impossible road for a lot of people for him to get to this point. And for him to get here, not only to get here, but to win is just such a fantastic outcome that pretty much only probably the linebackers could have hoped for. And just this match in general had me so stressed out the entire time because of how much of a hot streak they've both been on, especially JTE this year. And like Linus was talking about, for Sam to get spinner's choice and then pick movie release dates and basically crush the entire round, that's going to scare some people, I think, going forward in the competition. And it was really cool to see a new strength of his and to kind of find out new information about the strengths he does have that maybe we don't know about. But I'm just so excited for Sam Levine. I've been kind of hoping that this was going to be his year after his performance at the free for all and how blown away everyone was by that. So I'm just really excited.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I kind of thought that JTE was going to win this one as well, just after the year he's had. It has been amazing watching him just become like change from the guy who everyone said was holding back, the Patriots, that Snyder was the one who was carrying JTE this whole time and turning into kind of like the sweetheart of the tournament. Like, no one thought he would make it past round 1, then no one thought he'd make it past round 2. So the fact that JTE did lose, I'm actually sad about, because I think he proved that he really deserves to be a top contender, and he's been doubted basically, since he started doing this back when it wasn't even on Collider. At the same time, I did want Sam to win because they've really won me over this year. And I, pledged my allegiance to the Above the Line group a few days ago. But, they've joined my ranks of, if they play, I will root for them no matter what, as long as it's not against someone else that is in my ranks of top contenders. So, I'm really glad that Sam won. I think it's great for the league. I think it's great for, just the channel in general. And I think that the storylines can be really interesting moving forward, specifically because we have a match coming up between the Patriots and Above the Line. Sam Levine at this point has beaten both Snyder and JTE in singles. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of, back and forth between the two teams at this point. And I think we could not have asked for a better title match than Above the Line and the Team Patriots. I think it's just perfect. And the fact that Sam is going up for 2 belts is even more impressive. I cannot wait for the spectacular. I think we can all agree that this tournament as a whole was insane. There were so many moments that were just mind-blowing, and we're going to talk about some of our personal favorites. So we're going to start with our personal favorite matches. So Linus, why don't you tell us what your favorite matches for teams and singles were?
So my favorite match for teams, there was a lot of great matches in the team tournament. I think the team tournament might be a little above the singles tournament for me, because I think a lot of them were so close and they were just such great energy in them. But my favorite match has got to be the most competitive, the most high scoring, which is Above the Line versus Wolves of Steel. Now, this match, it was the 6th question, I believe. Everyone was perfect so far. We could have had a scenario where everyone had a perfect round, and that would have been amazing. And just the knowledge between all 4 of them at a table, that's a championship match right there. To see that was a semifinal match was insane. And I think that was the match where Above the Line really found their groove. They, of course, played phenomenally in their first 2 matches, but scoring 35 points, and they could have scored 38 points, but Sam guessed the wrong actor well, they couldn't have, because they would have won, but I'm saying they played so well in that match that it put them on an echelon of being one of the best teams of all time. And just the Wolves of Steel, it was their last match, knowing that was kind of fun, just seeing how well they played. They had a great showing on their last match. Just all the competitiveness, both teams getting strengths in round 2 was always fun to watch. It's always fun. They got horror, they got 80s. It was fun to see everyone be so dominant in this match. And just seeing all the high scoring, this wasn't maybe the most theatrical match from the tournaments, but I loved it for all those reasons. And for my favorite singles match, I'm going to go with Bibiani versus Levine, because this match, just the way it went, Bibiani was up 9 points to like either 5 or 6 in round 1. And it looked, oh, Bibiani's got this. Completely botches the second round, getting 0 points. And the tables completely turn and Sam wins it that round. And I think that was just an amazing switch that you don't usually see, because Bibiani is usually amazing in the first and second round. but to have that switch like that was amazing. And in round 3, the final question, the answer being one Sam said just moments before that, and Bibiani missing that, I think that was such a strange miss. And it was such a strange match per se. Bibiani's entrance with the Predator thing was amazing to watch. I liked Sam wearing a hat. I thought that was a fun dynamic. But I think it was kind of cool. He wore a hat. You don't see many people wear baseball caps to the Schmoedown, so that was fun. Sam, he has such a fun energy in these matches, and he beat Bibiani, which set him on this run. And I think this is my favorite match of the singles for those reasons.
Perfect. I mean, both good matches. You actually took my team match, so I'll pick a backup. But Taylor, what did you think? What were your favorite matches?
Oh wow, that's a really tough one. Just because this season in both tournaments has been so insane and so unexpected. But I guess for me, one of my favorite matches all season was Nerds Watch going up against Above the Line. And for me, I would say it's one of my favorites because I've always been a huge fan of Nerds Watch. Seeing Rachel Cushing coming into her own in this competition has been really exciting to watch. And so her and Ken together has always been a really cool dynamic. But another reason it was one of my favorites is because we kind of get to see Above the Line starting to come into their own, see them, how they work as a team, what their dynamic looks like. And having Above the Line retired 2 of my favorite teams this tournament was insane. Just the fact that they took Nerds Watch out and Ken was like, I'm done with this. It was hard to watch, but at the same time, it kind of gave me a little bit of insight into Above the Line and how much of an insanely crazy team they were going to be. And I think that's kind of where my admiration for them really started at that point. And that was, if you have seen any of my reactions, that one is probably the one that stressed me out the most. Just sitting there, not knowing what was going to happen, if we were going to get any more Nerds Watch after that point. So that goes in the books as one of my favorites. As far as the singles tournament goes, my favorite was Sam Levine going up against John Roca. And my reasoning behind that is because this matchup between the two of them has been building and building and building for a long time. And there's not even really a legitimate reason for it. They've just been kind of calling each other out for a long time, wanting to go up against each other. And it turned pretty heated there towards the end, with Roca constantly playing the clip from Sam Levine, saying it gets him up in the morning and all that stuff. It was a fun dynamic to see. And I honestly don't think there were a lot of people that thought Levine was going to make it out of that match. Most people that I know had Roca winning, no problem. He was the champion in a lot of people's eyes. He was going to take this in a lot of people's eyes. And just to see Levine fight for it and fight for it and fight for it and come out on top in that match was completely surprising, even though it's exactly what I wanted to see. I really didn't know if he was going to make it past Roca. And it's definitely one of the most memorable matches I think I've ever seen.
Definitely. I think my 2 favorites, I mean, the critically acclaimed versus late to the party match. Chris Clark is mad at me for saying this one. He wishes that this one didn't exist. However, I think that it set what our expectations for both tournaments should have been from like day one. The fact that late to the party won and they were basically like the biggest underdogs in the whole tournament, because they did start as fans and have moved into this and have had they've had a bad loss in the past. They were really the underdogs of this match. I think everyone assumed that Bibiani and Whitney would win this one, and the fact that it did not turn out that way. I think blew people's minds. There is nothing more than I love about the Schmoedown than the fact that everything is so unpredictable. It can be one question that sets you apart from winning or losing a match, and it basically came to a head here where they just, if you have a bad game, it can change your entire course of the Schmoedown. Right. And that's one of the reasons I love the Schmoedown so much. And my singles match is actually kind of similar. My singles favorite is Ellis versus Howard. Now, Ellis is my favorite competitor. So the fact that he lost in the first round, I was so upset. Like, I was so upset during this match. But Stacey Howard is such a wonderful competitor, a great person, and so it was hard to really be that mad. And the fact that she was basically counted out of this match as soon as it was announced, everyone just assumed Ellis would have the match in the bag because he had won the tournament last year. And she showed everybody that she does know a lot more than everyone counts her for. And I just was really impressed with this match. I thought it was a nail biter and super surprising. And to me, that's what makes the Schmoedown so great, is just the matches that you come down to the wire and you have no idea who's going to win, and just the surprises that can happen and the unexpectability of this style of tournament. Chris Clark, sorry that we all made you sad by bringing up all the times your favorite competitors lost this season, but why don't you tell us what your favorite matches are?
I hate you guys. Like look. This entire tournament has been nothing but pain and suffering. But I do have to say this. The moment of glimmer that I got, the moment of victory that I tasted on my lips, it tasted like the best pizza you get at a pizzeria, was my favorite team match, which was Blofeld's Cat versus Heroes. Because it was my only victory during this entire tournament that was personal to me. Rob beat Hector. Great match. Very close match, too. And Schnepp really played his A game in that match, better than even he played with Burnett in their matches. And he carried Hector as much as Hector carried him. They were really good together. But Rob and Mark just came to victory, and it made me happy. One of the only time I was truly happy during this entire tournament. Now, that's my favorite team match. Okay, the unspeakable match that Kristen talked about between Robert and Vanessa versus William and Whitney is something that I do not want to discuss. It is traumatic to me as a person. I have a lot of PSD because of it. Is it PSD or is it PTSD? Well,
you got me, you son of a bitch.
Okay, well,
that stays in. We're not deleting that.
Oh God, that match is not. I cannot wait to get my revenge on Vanessa and Robert for that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be delicious. That'll happen soon, hopefully. But no, in all seriousness, that match was fantastic. This match was great. But my favorite singles match, again, because of Linus and Sam, and Above the Line and the linebackers and their support of Sam beat Bibbs. And that match will again also cause me a lot of trauma because again he lost in the first round. But my favorite match is JT versus McQueenie because that match just went on for a long time. They were really tight, and I felt like that match just was consistently really good and really you were on the edge of your seat. So McQueenie versus JT was the best singles match I think of the entire tournament. Also, that ending just went on forever and ever and ever, and I don't feel like either of them lost at all. Neither of them lost. I feel like JT won, but McQueenie didn't lose. He just kind of, he'll be back to see another day. And yeah, that match was it. Bada bing, bada boom. Two great matches between a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. I have my big box of KFC to get me through this depression, and I'm heading through. I'm heading through it, because this tournament was emotionally draining, but stomachly satisfying.
All right. Chris Clark is an exercise in maintaining professionalism. My favorite. My favorite. All right. And actually, I'm just going to go right back to you, Chris, because I never get tired of hearing what you have to say. What was your favorite moment of the tournament?
Okay, I kind of hinted at it. It was the only moment in the tournament where I was completely happy, where I was content. I was like, yes, everything is going good. At least I have somebody. And then top 10 came in, and John Roca destroyed my hopes, dreams, and fantasies. It's the moment where Blofeld's cat won. And it's the only moment of victory I had through this entire tournament, like I said. And yeah, it was my favorite, because every other moment in this tournament was great, but it wasn't great to me, and that sucked. But you know what? I'm not bitter. Next year it's going to be better. I'm looking forward to the spectacular and hopefully more surprises to come. But right now, the best moment in the tournament was when I got the one thing I wanted to get correct, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, you had a rough year, I think, this year, but you also had the invention of the Chris Clark curse. So you have become a legend of the Schmoedown, and
Oh.
hopefully we can retire that, because I'm sick of watching all my favorite people lose because you just like to make me sad. Taylor, what did you think? What was your favorite moment of the tournament?
Oh man, so I have two that come to mind. I mean, there were a ton of amazing moments in the tournaments this year, but the two I want to talk about, one was the entrance of DC Movie News when they played Above the Line. That was a cinematic masterpiece if I've ever seen one. Like, it just the fact that, like, that wig that Adam had on and the face makeup, he was very dedicated, first of all, in that. And then just the dance moves that he presented us with that I never could have imagined seeing on the Schmoedown. And then you have Kalinowski come out and do what has become his signature, his smile finger point that makes everyone die on the inside. So that was one of my favorite moments. My other favorite moment was actually from the team tournament when Action played Above the Line, and in Above the Line's pre-interview when Sam Levine was like, you know what? They can never have what we have, these sexy beards. That was the funniest, unexpected thing that I've heard come out of his mouth, and I loved it.
Exactly. I think I had to pause the video because I was laughing too hard to actually listen to the rest of the audio when he said that. It was unexpected, and it was perfect in every way. Linus, what are your thoughts?
There's a lot of great moments between both tournaments. Couple I want to point out. I just loved it in round two when Drew knew the answers so well that he would just laugh like, like you're asking me this question. It was seeing his knowledge that he was laughing at the questions, that he just knows them so well, was amazing, and it shows how much of a savant Drew truly was. Another one I want to bring up was Mike changing his nickname for obvious reasons. I came up with that, not to bloat or anything, but seeing that was one of my favorite moments personally. That has nothing to do with the game really, but I really liked that. I have an impact now. And so another moment, this is definitely a more real moment at the end of Mike Kalinowski versus Breanne Chandler 2, which the match, it was a good match, not so exciting, but at the end of the match, Mike kind of looks over at Breanne, and there's this moment where he knows what's going on, and he just gives her this hug, and they embrace after that match. And you realize these are two people, and they're playing characters, and all the effort you put into this game is great, but even losing a match can be hard. But you saw that friendship, you saw this bond between competitors playing to win, but also knowing at the end that this is real life and they still cared about each other. And just that one moment, it transcended the game, and it showed real people. We saw who they really were, and it was just such a moment that you just look and it just makes you happy knowing that those people are that genuine. And it was a great moment to watch, and it made us all kind of emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you watch, and Linus doesn't do reactions, so I don't know why
I
you're
did
on the
one.
summit. Oh, you did one? Oh, well then welcome to the summit.
I did one in July.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you are qualified. Hear that, guys? If you do one reaction, we'll invite you on the summit. No, but I think if you've watched any of our reactions during that match, just what Brienne said at the end and the hug that they shared, it was an emotional match. I mean, that was probably the most emotional I've ever gotten. Other than I think maybe when Dan retired, it was so out of left field that I think I was like actually crying at that match. But yeah, this tournament has been so emotional in so many respects. We had a lot of people where their teams kind of broke up after matches. Thank you, Above the Line, for ruining all my happiness. But I pledged my allegiance to you, I suppose. But my favorite moment of this is actually like a cheat. It's the fact that everyone's brackets were pretty much busted by like round 1. Like this was the tournament of underdogs. There were so many upsets. Everyone's brackets were busted left and right. And it was so hard to believe that we got the finals that we ended up in both teams and singles. I just, in my mind, never would have picked either of those two matches. Like I could have seen Above the Line in the teams finals. I think that's the least surprising thing, especially after like their first match. But the rest of it, just shocking outcomes. And the fact that we had an untested team and a team that had gone through probably one of the toughest ways to the final in the finals, competing against each other. And then you had JTE and Sam, who both had kind of subpar 2016 seasons. Just mind blowing. Like, just the amount of surprises that this tournament had. I think that it deserves all the views. If you haven't liked all the matches, like, what are you doing? Go like all the matches, leave comments and stuff. But they deserve so much. And it's just one of the biggest reasons why I love the Schmoedown. And I'll always advocate for the Schmoedown for reasons like this. Just the fact that you never know what is coming. They do such a good job of keeping things interesting, like this summit is turning out to be. And just excited to see the spectacular, excited to see what comes next. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of more surprises coming at the spectacular. That being said, that concludes our wrap up of the 2017 Ultimate Schmoedown Tournament. Before we end the episode, we are going to do just a real quick talk about the Inner Geekdom matches coming up. So we have a qualifier for the 4-way match and then the 4-way match, both of them coming up within the next week. So the qualifier is between Emma Fife, Fife for Life, and Jason Inman, and then we have the 4-way, which will feature the winner of that match, and Coy Jandrew, Jay Washington, and Rachel Cushing. So I'm going to ask you guys one question, and it's the most important question. Who you got? Taylor, what do we got?
Oh, man. So in the Fife versus Inman match, I'm going to have to go with Inman. I've kind of been rooting for him in Inner Geekdom for a long time, and I think it finally might be his time to kind of take this one. And then in the 4-way, that's really tough because, like I said, I'm really kind of rooting for Inman, but having Rachel in there makes it a lot harder to say that for sure because she has just been killing it lately. But for me, I think I have to root for Rachel just because we gotta get more ladies representing up in here.
Completely agree. Linus, who you got?
I'm going to go Inman for the first Inner Geekdom match, but I'm not going to be surprised in the slightest if Fife pulls it off. It's kind of like a 60-40 to me on Inman. He was kind of iffy in his first match. He played well, but it wasn't great. And Fife played so much better than I expected her to in her first match. She should have went to the final round in that match, and Coy shouldn't have went in that final round at all because of that. But yeah, I'm going to take Inman to win, but it seems like luck might not be on his side for some reason. And for the 4-way qualifier, if I'm a betting man, I'd bet on Rachel. But there's this factor of the Schmoedown when you're such heavily favored that it kind of just kicks you and like lets someone else win. So in that sense, dark horse pick, I'm gonna pick Koi Jandrew to win because no one's expecting that, and it's not completely out of left field, but he's said some things about Hector Navarro that makes me think like the gods of the Schmoedown might give him the win just magically. But if I'm a betting man, I'd probably go on Rachel. But this game, it has magical ways that it turns stuff against people. So don't be too heavily favored.
That is absolutely true. And he knows a lot about that specific thing. Chris Clark, who you got?
Well, let me see. Since the curse doesn't exist anymore because I broke it, I'm going to go with my actual pick. This pick is actually, let me just make sure that I'm recording. That's good. That's awesome. I am. Awesome. That's getting cut, hopefully. Anyway, hopefully if I messed up, whatever, cool. I think it's going to be actually the dark horse pick that's not Koi Jandrew, and it's not Rachel Cushing. I'm going for Jay Washington. Jay Washington did something extraordinary that nobody on that panel has done. He beat Robert Meyer Burnett. And when you can beat the champion, a former champion, with that much knowledge, you are a force to be reckoned with. And Mr. Washington is coming to town, and Yankee Doodle Dandy, he's going to do it, and he's going to do it great. And Jay Washington is going to defeat everybody in that four-way and become the king of the crop. And I view this as Jay Washington beat the monster, and all he has to do is beat the little peanut guy to get to where he wants to be, and he's going to get to where he wants to be. My word is my word, and the gospel has been spoken.
Who's the little peanut guy?
Jay Washington?
No, Hector
Okay.
Navarro.
Oh,
No.
okay. All right. Now that we've got that cleared up.
Did winning?
All right. So my picks for the qualifier, I'm actually kind of 50-50 on this. I think Emma Fyffe is great at certain categories. I mean, she could probably beat anyone in Harry Potter. She's really good at comic books. She's got Lord of the Rings kind of down as well. But then there's a few of these categories that are a little scary for her. And I think Jason Inman is a little more well-rounded. He's got a few categories that he's excellent in, but then I think that there aren't as many categories that he's as bad in. So it could go either way for me. I think I am going to give the slight edge to Emma just because I love seeing females represented, and there would be nothing that would make me happier than to see two women in this four-way qualifier for the finals. My four-way pick, it's so hard because all of these competitors are amazing in their own respects. Emma is just like an eternal ray of sunshine. Koi Jandrew is just like a sweetheart. He's one of the nicest human beings, and I only know that from reading his Twitter. So I mean, like, if you can tell someone's a great human being from their Twitter, then you know they're doing a good job. Jay Washington is one of the best personalities in the Schmoedown. He brings such a level of, to steal a phrase, gravitas to this tournament with just the way that he acts and you know the joy that he brings to this. And then you've got Rachel Cushing, who is my queen. And so, of course, I will go with Rachel Cushing because Yas Queen. So those are our picks for the Inner Geekdom. Clark didn't say who he was going to pick for the qualifier, but we'll just assume who do you want to tell us who you were going to pick?
Yeah, I'm going to actually cut this into my things.
No, don't do it.
That's all good. I shouldn't tell. I shouldn't tell at all. I actually feel like Inman versus Emma. Okay. Inman has gotten lucky. But then again, Inman did something that Emma hasn't done. And so I'm going with Inman. Inman defeated Robert Meyer Burnett in his five-way. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. He defeated Robert Meyer Burnett in his five-way. And when you can defeat Robert Meyer Burnett, you can defeat anybody. So, Inman, and Jay Washington have both beaten Robert Meyer Burnett, and thus they are going to be. Well, Inman's going to defeat Emma, but then Jay Washington's going to defeat Inman because Jay Washington defeated Robert Meyer Burnett one-on-one. He didn't have a bunch of teammates trying to attack. But you get what I mean, and somebody agrees. So yeah, I got Inman. Yep, I got Inman for that first one.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in disbelief this is going to be a 4-way. I still think for some reason it's going to turn out to be a 5-way somehow.
Yeah, they're going to like throw in a surprise person.
Yeah, I mean, we've had all 5 ways, and then to randomly have a 4-way, that it seemed a little off to me. Because all these, we've 5-way, triple threat, 4.
Chris is losing his mind because Chris thinks Robert Meyer Burnett is going to show up.
Possible.
It's going to be Robert Meyer Burnett, and he's going to actually defeat everybody. That's my new prediction, actually. Okay, here we go. This is my new prediction. Okay, going off of what Linus said. This is great television, y'all. Inman is going to defeat Emma. That's fine. That's good. And then it's going to be a 4-way, but then it's going to be a 5-way. Robert Meyer Burnett is going to come in, and he's going to single-handedly sweep. Everybody's going to get an answer wrong. He's going to get them all right. He's going to be. Yeah, somebody really agrees with me. But yeah, it's true. Robert Meyer Burnett is going to be the champion. Thank you so much for putting that in my head, Linus. You are the best. I love you. This just went off the rails.
Well, I tried real hard to make sure that this place didn't burn down, but Linus disagreed with me. So we've made it to the end of the show. Thank you all for listening thus far. And we really enjoyed bringing you guys the summit this week. And I always enjoy hosting it. So thanks for being on vacation, Jacob. But I'd like to thank our wonderful panel for being here. Chris Clark, where can the good people find you?
You can find me hosting on Take 3 Productions, the Suddenly Soundtracks, which is our new show that focuses on musicals. And we dissect a movie solely based on its soundtrack and judge it solely based on its soundtrack. You can also find me on Twitter at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. Or you can find me on YouTube at No Man's Land Entertainment. Bada bing, bada boom.
Perfect. Taylor, where can we find you?
Everyone can find me on YouTube. Finally Tailored is the channel. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. You can find me in the group. I post pretty much all the time, but that's about it.
And Linus, where can we find you?
Well, first of all, you should all join the Above the Line fan page. We were trying to beat Action. It didn't happen yet, but we still can. We still have time to beat Action by numbers, and the linebackers can raise. So that's just the ATL fan page. I'm also admin on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown page. You can see me there. On Twitter, it's my name, Linus Babcock. Same with Instagram. I don't have any YouTube stuff coming up, but I'm a host on Movie Battleground, which is an internet debate show, which is fun. So you should check that out. And yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was nice having some guests on. We would like to bring in more guests more frequently. So if there's anyone that we haven't had on yet that you would like to see on the summit, let us know in the comments or on our Facebook page where you can find us and see all of our upcoming shows. You can also see me hosting the live watch-alongs where we will watch a movie and make commentary on it. And they're not as regular as they'd like to be, but I am a busy human being. I also started my own YouTube channel. You can find me at The Film Smith on YouTube, and I'm doing movie reviews on there. And you can find me Instagram, Twitter, and Stardust Smith_K10, the number, not the word. And that's all we got. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back next week for more amazing Schmoedown content. You all take care.